Okay, so we're talking about the way things are in the real world. We're talking about how things get done. We're talking about uh, living a full life, a life of meaning, a life that matters, a life that shows progress, uh, leaves something for posterity. Now, let's get into it because actually, the more I thought about this and worked on this question for years, the more I realized that there are two fundamental ways to think about this. And it's quite simple, really, and it sounds quite obvious, but it isn't necessarily to everybody. So let's get into it. Basically, we have my way and the highway. Now, that sounds like a very limited number of options right there, but actually it encompasses everything important in the world. So let's think about it for a minute. Now, obviously, intuitively, you probably think that, well, come on, Professor Clegg. Of course, my way. I mean, who wouldn't want my way? Because we all know that the highway implies that get lost, right? You're out of the game. And that makes sense. That really does make sense, but it's not quite that obvious. Because think about it. Think about a highway, okay? A highway takes you places. You know, you could have a highway from coast to coast. You could drive from coast to coast, experience everything between the Atlantic and the Pacific in the United States. A highway also leads to other highways. You could intersect with another highway, head off in another direction. In the United States anyway, in Europe and other developed parts of the world, we have lots of highways. You know, they crisscross everything. And it's great for getting around and for logistics and other practical things. But think about it. A highway can lead to other highways that can literally transport you across the globe. You know, across cultures, across nations. And while you're on the highway, basically you get to explore all these different things, have all these incredible experiences, meet all kinds of different kinds of people, learn new things. And it's fantastic. It's wonderful. Who doesn't want to do that, right? World travel. So I think we can all agree that we all like to travel, right? Right? Of course you do. And by the way, it's okay. Just, you know, get your work done and we'll see you when you get back. Okay. So anyhow, who doesn't like world travel? We all like world travel. We all like to go take trips, go visit new places, do new things. I know a lot of you have studied a foreign language. Maybe it's like merci beaucoup or muchas gracias or arigato gozaimasu or something. And that's always fun. You can learn a lot by traveling around, by getting out on the highway, Route 66, the beatniks. And it's exciting and fun. But let's think about it some more. Let's think about my way some more, okay? And it's not just about getting your way. My way is a mindset that's devoted to power, devoted to success, devoted to achievement, devoted to building, to creativity, to ownership, to private property, entrepreneurship, business. My way is important. Now, why is this? Primarily because there is an infinite number of ways for things to get in a muddle, for things to get mixed up, messed up, goofed up, disorganized, confused, volatile, dangerous. And obviously, dealing with an infinite probability or possibility of outcomes is a very scary thing, right? That's why people have traditions. That's why they adhere to their culture. That's why they care a lot about preserving their culture. And that's why culture feels good. That's why it feels good to be at home. That's why people like their hometown, their family, having a place, being situated in the world. And in this place, we have ways of doing things. So they may use spoons in Thailand. They may use chopsticks in Japan and China. But we use knives and forks, and this is how we hold them. It's very important to us, you see, that we know how to behave, how to participate, how to fit in, how to be a member of the group in good standing, trusted, understood. So you could head out on the highway looking for adventure, whatever comes my way kind of thing. But where does that lead you at the end of the day? Where do you arrive? What's the final destination? People talk a lot about the journey, right? The journey? I mean, it's true. Life is a journey. We do change. We do grow. We do learn. We do develop. But life's more than a journey. Excuse me. Can I help you? Oh, yeah, I'll talk to you after class. Okay. So yes, life is a journey. We can all count on that. Life is a journey. It's a wonderful thing that we can grow, change, develop over time. But in our world, the real world, the world that writers and consultants, scholars, teachers like John Mersheimer, for example, talk about the real world. They're realists. They believe in looking at the world as it is. Geopolitics, the great game, the competition between great powers. And they recognize that there are certain rules to this game, right? So if you want to achieve something, if you want to be a part of what's going on in the world, if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a business person, if you want to be respected, considered as somebody who's actually, an important member of the community, then you're going to fight tooth and nail, right or wrong, for good or bad, whether you win or whether you lose, for your way. And when someone like Frank Sinatra sings a great hit song, I Did It My Way, I'm not going to sing it like I did it ma hui, like I'm some Chinese person, right? I'm going to sing it like Frank, because there's an infinite number of versions we can have of my way, but there's only one Frank Sinatra way. And that's the way, that's the real version, right? That's the one that we all recognize, that we all understand, the iconic version, the version that never gets old, the version that keeps selling decades after Frank Sinatra's death. That's what we've got going here. So it really is a choice. Two ways of thinking about the world, fundamental ways. One is head out on the highway or my way. And if we think about it mythologically, psychologically, philosophically, politically, in terms of commerce, in terms of great power competition, then we have to recognize that my way has got to be the way. Now, how can you fight for your way if you're a general, like let's say a Roman general, Julius Caesar, for example, and you're fighting the Celts, and you're leading from the front as one does, because you're a war fighter, because you're not woke. You're not into all this social justice stuff, and I don't mean to insult anybody, by the way. I'm not against it. It's just to say that you lead from the front, you take a big risk, right? A huge risk with your own life, your own blood and treasure. And this is not a good idea. How can you get your way? How can you have your way and live it too if you risk everything? So people who are players, people who do make a difference in the world, are people who risk other people's blood and treasure to get what they want. Does that sound immoral? Does that sound immoral to you? Do you think that's wrong? Have you read any mythology at all? Of course you have. Have you read the Bible? You've read the Bible? Of course you have. Now, I'm telling you one thing. The creator of the universe isn't going to risk his life, his creative powers for you. I'm sorry, he's not. You've received your gift, the gift of life, the gift of consciousness, the gift of being a human being, which is a creature. And a creature is somebody that was created. You have that gift now. And you have the free will, the power in that sense, to make choices and to create a way of doing things, code the capital, if you will, decide on the rules-based order, what have you, how we're going to manage things. And of course, you're going to do all this using other people's talents because you need other people's talents and you want to win. So you are going to A/B test. You are going to see what works and what doesn't work. You are going to invent disruptive technologies that put people out of work, that destroy people's livelihoods, because that's what you have to do to increase your capital, to increase profits, to win the game, to have it your way. And this is the genius and beauty of the litigiousness of the United States system, the rule of law. The rule of law isn't about the law. There isn't the law. The law is fungible. It's flexible. It bends. It breaks. You break it. You bend it. But you also make it. And you make it so that you can have your way. Getting your way is an art. It's a talent. It can be learned, which is why you're all here. And it can be perfected. And some people, like Rupert Murdoch, for example, that's right, your favorite guy. Well, okay. When did Rupert die? How many wives did he have? How many children did he have? How many billions of dollars did he give to his children? How many lives did he influence? How many kings did he make? How many kings did he make? Is it good to be the one king with the sword of Damocles hanging over your head? All that responsibility and power when you can actually make sure that the sword is hanging over their heads and that you're the puppeteer. You're the guy or the girl or the it or the they with the strings, determining my way, my way. And I don't think any of you would be in this classroom today if you thought that a carefree world out on the highway looking for adventure was better than learning how to be a winner. So with that in mind, that's what this class is all about. In the great spirit of the loony madness of one of the great talents in the history of American entertainment, Charlie Sheen, winner, winning. And I mean seriously winning. I'm not talking about these silly videos that Charlie did when he was under the influence. I'm talking about what he achieved as Martin Sheen's son, what he achieved as an actor in his career, and all the obstacles he overcame doing it his way, doing it his way. Because Charlie did it his way, let's admit it, whether you like it or not. And this game of ours, this thing of ours, I like to call it this thing of ours, because who doesn't like a gangster movie, a mafia film? They're some of my favorites. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw Goodfellas. Did you see Goodfellas? Did you watch The Sopranos? One of my favorite shows. I love The Sopranos. I've seen The Wire at least twice, I think. I've gone through the whole season twice. Do I watch West Wing? Ridiculous. What a stupid fantasy movie. What a silly fable. What a weak, effete, elitist bunch of nonsense that TV series was. Now, I do like Martin Sheen. I like Charlie Sheen. I like Martin Sheen. But I did not like that series. It was nonsense. But Sopranos, that was good. That was really good. I'm sure a lot of you guys agree. So with that in mind, I'd like you to do the reading I requested. And I look forward to seeing you. I'm glad you're here. And by the way, if you don't want to be in this class, that's fine, because it's my way or the highway. Okay, people. See you next time. Thanks a lot.